Oh, you can see Yoshi. Sick.
Matt and Josh's Comics, Arbitrary News of the Week. This is kind of comic
News.
related, but I am happy to support this version of Dungeons and Dragons, so I thought I'd bring it up.
Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves star Chris Pine is pretty confident that a sequel will happen. The first one was great. It just kind of came out at the wrong time.
Yeah, that and like,
The
do you think they
marketing wasn't
marketed it
great.
well? Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't market it well because I think they figured that it was built in the terms of,
Built-in audience of Dungeons and Dragons.
and they thought that like people that played Dungeons and Dragons would just come. And I think they kind of forget that they tried to do that once
They needed more than just that to make it a
and
success.
they failed them. So I think they weren't falling for it at this
The
point in
last
time,
Yeah.
obviously. So I think it was just they didn't push it enough. And the worst problem is that it looked really good.
Yeah.
Like, can you remember off the top of your head how many times you're like, yeah, that looks a little, like maybe 2 times, maybe. The rest
Yeah.
of the times were great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like that movie. So yeah, I'm hoping that they do it. But what was the budget to was 200 something million?
150 million. So Paramount Pictures and E1's recent fantasy adaptation, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, received a very positive review from critics, sitting at 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, an equally impressive 93% audience score. Despite a decent opening weekend and an A- cinema score, the movie simply failed to find its feet at the box office. Honor Among Thieves finished its theatrical run with 93 million domestic, 207 million worldwide on a $150 million budget. Factoring advertising costs, the chances of a sequel being greenlit seem to be somewhere between slim and none. However, it seems all is not lost as our mismatched band of heroic adventurers. According to Chris Pine, a sequel has been discussed. And he feels there's a strong possibility that a second movie will happen. Quote, I've heard rumors about it, but I don't know anything yet, but I feel pretty confident that it may happen. When asked if he'd be happy to return as Edgin, Pine responded, absolutely. Yeah. So it was written by Game Night directors Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly, helmed the project, who is from John Francis Daly was in Freaks and Geeks. Wrote the latest version of the script based on a previous draft by Michael Gillio, along with Pine, the movie stars Hugh Grant, Michelle Rodriguez, Jessica Smith, Sophia Lillis, Roger Jean Page, and Daisy Head. So I'm hoping that just, happens. That's why I put it in here. Just, go watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, go watch it honestly, and write to your local municipality because this is it's a great movie.
So, it's a little off topic. Speaking of movies, I watched Expendables 4 this morning while doing some work. It's amazingly bad. Like, I can't believe how bad that movie is. I couldn't get through it all. I got to like 45 minutes in.
Yeah, that's.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. I've seen all the reviews and the out of theater reactions. I watched a few of them because I was very curious to see what like the first impression of the movie.
So I knew going in that it had really terrible reviews, but sometimes a bad movie can be fun.
Yeah, of course.
This one was distractingly bad, even while doing it in the back and having it on the background. Oof. Anyways, so we're getting the biggest collection of English comics being put together in history.
Whoa.
Apparently, inside the Rebellion vaults, rediscovering the secrets of history of British comics. The publisher, 2000 AD, and the Treasury of British Comics has planned for one of the largest collections of English language comics in the world. Somewhere hidden in deepest, darkest Oxford. Okay, the darkest might simply have been the weather when I was there. There's a legitimate piece of comic book history, or more precisely, multiple pieces of comic book history. The Archive of Rebellion's Treasury of British Comics, and 2000 AD, which consists of more than a century of back issues, original art, and more. Easily one of the largest archival collections of comic book history, and almost certainly one of the most substantial archives of British comic history in particular. Rebellion's archive is predominantly made up of material published by what was one of the largest UK comic book publishers of the 20th century, IPC, and its many alternate names, subsidiary companies, and publishers purchased or absorbed into it across the years. including but not limited to Amalgamated Press, Oldham's Press, Fleetway Publications, and many more. While Rebellion bought long-running British sci-fi anthology series 2000 AD at the start of the 21st century, it wasn't until 2018 that it acquired the complete back catalog of IPC, reuniting what is in effect 130 years of material and a record of pop culture unlike any other. Yes, I wrote 130 years. The Rebellion archive includes copies of comic cuts from the 1890s, some of the earlier cartoon papers in the world. To see them collected in bound editions that are most likely over a century old, in and of themselves, labeled with yellowing paper that they are library editions and not to be removed from the collection of a publisher that no longer exists, is a curious experience because they are at once objects from a distant past and oddly contemporary, using illustration tricks and techniques and employing a wicked sense of satire still in use today. Other bound editions in the climate-controlled archive, which is also moisture-controlled, because some of these old comics, especially some of the artwork, are impossibly delicate, include complete catalogs of numerous girls' titles that dominated British newsstands for the decades in the middle of the 20th century. Are you saying there was woke comics back in the mid 20th century? How dare they have
a brain in the 1920s?
Comics.
Wow.
Titles like June, Misty, Princess Tina, Love Story, Library, and more. Some that have been unfairly forgotten or ignored when self-serious official histories of comics have been written in the past. But they're filled with stories as inventive, playful, and beautifully illustrated as anything that the boys were reading at the time, with a number of famed creators like Pat Mills, John Wagner, and others cutting their teeth on girls' comics before using the lessons learned there on everything from Judge Dredd to Third World War and beyond. There are further surprises to discover in the vault. Copies of series like Smash, which for many UK readers was their first introduction to American superheroes like Batman, to British audiences via luridly reformatted reprints, or Film Fun and Look In to anthologies of comic strips featuring actors and celebrities of the era, sadly unlikely to ever be reprinted due to complicated rights issues. Yeah, no doubt there are complicated rights issues.
Okay, wait a minute, but if it's so long ago, how...
Well, one, it depends on copyright law from England to America and in America, they've extended copyright laws for pretty much for Disney, so they can keep the rights to Mickey Mouse and Snow White and blah, blah, blah. Like, I think it's supposed to expire after 70 years, but they extended it to 100, I think, just because Disney wanted it to.
Wow. So much power.
Yeah. The material is co-owned by Rebellion, whoever controls the celebrities or the movie and the TV properties the strips feature. Oh yeah, so there are probably long gone TV production companies that had the rights but don't exist anymore. And then there are celebrities whose families own the rights to their likeness.
Crazy.
And then there's the 2000 AD archive, which somehow manages not to be overshadowed by decades of history surrounding it. It's not simply that it's a complete collection of one of the most important comics in English language. There's also a complete collection of the film's transparencies for each and every issue, showing the behind the scenes details and how they were printed, as well as a host of original artwork purchased by Rebellion to act as a comprehensive record of both major characters and major creators, featured throughout the title's 46-year run so far. As a lifelong 2000 AD fan, I must admit no small excitement in getting to see the original painted artwork by Alan Davis, or late 1970s Judge Dredd strip by McMahon, the first artist whose Dredd ever saw print. So they plan to release this for people to see in kind of 3 different formats. Reprints, courtesy of ongoing Treasury of British Comics publication program, running for a number of years already. The Treasury releases collections of archive material themed by creators as well as publications. The second way you'll be able to see it is access provided to educational establishments, with the physical archive being available for access by academics, researchers, or students in the UK. And the third way would be exhibits and physical display of artwork and other ephemera contained in the archive, including Rebellion's participation in the recent Comics Forum exhibit as part of Thought Bubble 2023. So, yeah, quite a lot to read through.
Crazy.
And sort through. I know the Judge Dredd was popular. I never got into it. I do have, actually, I think I have one around here somewhere. One of the...
Oh, really?
Well, not... So it was a collection. It was like a bigger trade than a... But yeah. Okay, so last but not least, everyone hold on to their comics. Watch out for thieves.
They coming.
Comics stolen from homes, lockers, and comic stores across North America. Thievery is on the rise. Happy Thanksgiving, but it's not great for some comic stores or collectors across North America after a new wave of comic book thefts. So we have the Comics Place comic book store in Bellingham, Washington was robbed this month, with the thieves making off with comics, Magic Gathering cards, including Fantastic Four 48. The owner, Django Boren, estimated between 2,000 and 4,000 worth of comics were stolen, though adds, I left Devendra Barnhart's Insect Eyes playing at max volume as a prank for the opening staff. So the robbers got to listen to that at a deafening level, and so did 5 or 6 police who responded, guns drawn, flashlights splashing over comics, and IKEA shelving while the Hills Have Eyes 2 trailer song blasted over the sound system. Oops. In Connecticut, a judge has offered suspect Saul Salazar, charged in the 2019 theft of 500 comics of more than, I'm assuming he said then, more than 500 comics worth $200,000 in comic books, including Amazing Fantasy 15, X-Men 1, Fantastic Four 1. A choice to either tell the state how he got the comics after their theft from a locked unit in a Shelton self-storage facility and be freed, or go to trial for a possible 40-year sentence. He's one of 3 charged with first-degree larceny, conspiracy to commit first-degree larceny. He arrested in 2020 and rejected a plea deal in 2021. Oh, this guy doesn't want to give up the comics. State Superior Court Judge Kevin Russo noted that he had no criminal record, which could make him eligible for the charges to be dismissed if he successfully completes a pretrial diversionary program and confesses as to how he got the comics. I wonder if they're looking to see if this was an inside job with the storage facility, maybe?
Yeah, or something.
Like, give us a bigger fish and we'll leave you alone. The judge stated they just want to know how something like this could have happened. And if you were able to provide these details to the state's satisfaction, I would consider granting you one of these programs with a few attached conditions that, trust me, you'll be able to do. You'll walk out of here with a clean record. The arrests were made after comics were sold to another store. Chatham Kent Police, which is about an hour from me in Ontario, Canada, are asking for help after $3,000 worth of comic books were reported stolen after a home break-in in the area of Oxley Drive. Burglars broke in through a window and stole $3,000 worth of comics. Anyone with more information can call that number. And finally, burglars stole $25,000 worth of comics from Tales to Astonish in West Seattle. A few months since burglars previously stole $20,000 in comics back in August, Sean Duff, the owner of Tales to Astonish, stated, the first thing I thought of is, I don't know if I can continue to do this. Just because so much of our back stock was taken, 4 books that were all signed by Stan Lee, including the first Black Panther, first Guardians of the Galaxy, first Captain Marvel, and first appearance of Miss Marvel. We got a year left in our lease, a little bit less than a year left in our lease, so at bare minimum, try and make it to that. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. And finally, Robert Cate had his storage locker raided in Nolensville Pike in Nashville with thousands of comics and toys stolen. Though the company changed hands between the time of the suspected theft and now, I'm getting another lock for my shed on Black Friday, I think. Yeah. So definitely you should have, even if you're a private collector and do it as a hobby, you should definitely add a special rider to your insurance.
Yep.
To cover the ongoing value of your comics. But you shouldn't totally feel bad if you're a homeowner and you get broken into, as it's clearly obvious that they break into stores to do it too. Our local shop had been broken into 2 or 3 times in the last couple of years, grabbing...
Wow.
They weren't grabbing comics, they were grabbing Magic the Gathering cards. They catch them and then they put them, the trial takes a while, but then they're out on bail and they go and do it again, right? So, but then they're so dumb cards. Because they go right back to the people like, I wonder if these guys did it. Yeah. We just caught them like a year ago doing it.
Yeah. Same thing with Pokemon cards was like that. I mean, it was like that even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like kids were going in, taking every card, and then ditching the store or putting them in bins and leaving with the bins, paying for the bins and then leaving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And they had to they ended up putting like security in the aisle, literally hiring security just for the aisle of Pokemon cards and toys.
It's a weird, it's a weird thing. Like, I have to protect the toys because they're actually a commodity now and worth something.
It's, I don't know, man. It's getting to the point where I feel like we're bridging the gap between collectibles and just simply things that are worth money. It's I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like that some of the comics I have that I've acquired over the years are worth, a bit. It's kind of investment, but then you're also like, should this be an investment or is it just be something I should be able to read and enjoy and not worry about?
It's a tough call.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. It's a weird time we're living in. Okay, so that's Arbitrary News of the Week. I'll hit you with an ad, and thanks.
Your new multi-vendor marketplace, YouSellComics.com, offers a site exclusively for buying and selling of all things comics. Slabs, omnis, trades, and more. Sell for as low as 5% commission or 0 commission monthly tiers. Run your own auctions, unlimited bin listings. YouSellComics.com. Buy